welcome back, Pokemon Go players, to another episode of the Purified podcast. Today is not September, it's October 3rd, 2021. I am your host, Luis Palacios, with my co-host, Chris.
Hey, it's your boy, Pokemon Trigger, please. And we definitely have a lot of news today. Yeah, we're gonna have fun, okay?
Yeah, no, we definitely have some things to talk about. A little bit of APK mining, some things of the event. Let me go ahead and put in an instance to make sure that we are ready for that, just in case I get something cool. Definitely, oh, thank you so much. We definitely think that this week is a slow one, just because everything that's going on, and we still have another week of this event anyways. However, we're once again here to talk about Pokemon Go's news, updates, and ranting about the game, because we love the game just as much as you do. Before I check on the other Pokemon over here, let's remind everybody that we are part of the Professor Network. Please check us out at theprofessornetwork.com/Purified Podcast. Chris is kind of like, his back screen not actually let me see everything, but still, let's make sure that everybody checks us out over there at professornetwork.com/Purified Podcast. Erect. Anyways. So, now that I didn't have any shinies to start with, let's do a little bit of recap. How's your week been there, brother? What you been doing this week?
It's been a pretty good week. I had some nice surprises. Despite, I don't know, I haven't been grinding as much as I could have been. But I can say I did have some more fun playing Pokemon Go this past week than a lot of weeks coming up to now. I did get 2 shinies.
Ooh, nice.
So that was exciting.
Yeah.
After the shiny Blitzel, there wasn't too much more I wanted. But I did get one that I really did want. Mm-hmm. I didn't get the Sneasel, but I did get a level 1 shiny Butterfree when I went to the park. So I was flexing it on Julie. She was very jealous. She clicked on it and she was like, what? Mine's not shiny? What the heck?
I know, right?
And then after that, I was doing some Go Battle League, and I was pleasantly surprised by a shiny Azelf. I think that was my second one.
Second shiny, but is that the only one you have as shiny?
No. That's my second shiny Azelf.
No, I know, but out of the Lake Trio.
Oh, no. Yeah, no. Just Azelf.
Well, that's good. I mean,
if I could get the rest from Go Battle League, I might have more.
Well, yeah, but unfortunately, they only are in the region, so I'm guessing you didn't do a lot of remote ratings for those.
Nah, I think I only did like 2 or 3 of each of them, maybe. I wasn't really going out of my way for it, but, they'll probably have more events in the future for them. Yeah. And I may do some more.
The only one that I missed as the Hondo was, unfortunately, Absol. I was trying to get it, but I wasn't going, insanely hard to do for it either way. Just because it's not something... Like the last 2 Hondos out of the Lake Trio, the Uzi, I got it as soon as literally second raid to try to see if I can get the shiny or not. I got the Hondo, so that's pretty good. And Mesprin, I got it way back on his turnaround for remote rating, so before the shiny was released. So I got 2 out of the 3 Hondos. Maybe the next time will I finally be a sell for it, but you never know, So.
Yeah. What'd you get this week, though?
This week. All right. Well, I can tell you for sure that I did get a couple of shinies. Since I'm starting with that, you probably already know the difference on that. I did a lucky trade for a Ralts. I got a lucky shiny Ralts, so that's pretty good. So it was 96, I think. I did get a shiny Alola Meowth from Spotlight Hour. So I was actually happy about that, since I think it's my second one. And then I did get another shiny Scyther. Not the Shadow, but the regular one.
Dope.
Yeah, nice little haul for shiny-wise. I'll go ahead and talk about the Meowth Spotlight Hour in just a moment. But let me see my Hondos. I don't believe I got any Hondos this week. Nope. This week I am Hondoless. I know. It's so weird, right?
Is this Lewis?
The last few events, there hasn't been real nice thing to hunt for anyways. There's been a few things that I want Hondo, but it's not like I'm going out of the way to get them. And I've been hatching the bare minimum of eggs. I mean, I have incubators, but I've been getting a lot of 2Ks, and I don't want to waste that on anything but just like 10Ks or anything.
I
So
can see that.
yeah, so it's kind of one of those things in the end of the day, and it's just little by little trying to get some things, kind of to get not to get some things. But yeah, it wasn't like I really needed to actually do all of the events, all of the raids, all of the things for it. So I got what I got. I'm okay with it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see there were some people that had like, I don't know, like 9 Meowths during Spotlight Hour? I will say, like, this has been one of the craziest Spotlight Hours.
Yes. So actually,
Because they didn't change the shiny odds at all for it.
yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about really about the Spotlight Hour, because I was looking all over Twitter and even the odds of how people were actually speculating on this. Now, of course, the Spotlight Hour was actually a very good one. If it would have been double cash Stardust, that would have actually made like coup de grace of the whole Spotlight Hour. But a lot of Meow has a chance of giving you more Stardust than usual, so that's why everybody was really hunting it for it. However, the shiny rates were insanely high for the Spotlight Hour for the very first time and since the release of the events. Everybody was getting between 2 to 3, maybe 5 or 6, depending on how hard you were grinding, and it was kind of insane because it felt like a community day at that point. I think my friend got 2, and he barely played that hour, so 2 or 3. So I was like, "Bruh, you're cray." So I mean, yeah, there were probably a couple people that only got like 1. But I don't think almost anybody went out without having at least a shiny Alola out from that Spotlight Hour. So I was actually pleasantly surprised for it.
Yeah, that is a crazy Spotlight Hour to have, honestly.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad they did that.
Yeah.
I am kind of disheartened because I did skip out on it accidentally.
Well, I mean, this may be something that we may actually talk about during the news section just because of what we want to talk about, but we'll get into it in just a moment when it comes down to it. So, yeah, so that's our hauls this week. Not too bad. I'm not happy I didn't get a Hondo, but hey, the life is life. You can't get Hondos every single day or every single week. Unless
I don't know. You'll get 2 next week.
Probably. I don't know. I might just hatch 1 right now. I don't even know. I'll probably get 1 anyway, so I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, but yeah, so that is the Shinies and Hondos. Let's talk about the event that we are going on right now, the Secrets of the Jungle event, and see what is good about this event. Chris, what can you tell me?
I mean, obviously, the most important thing, you get a brand new Pokemon. And apparently he's all right in Master League. I don't know too much about that, so I do want to check that in PV Poke. But there's a lot of very cool Pokemon to catch. Cottony is a really nice one because he's very good in the Little Cup right now. If you really want a cheap Pokemon to use. And other than that, there's just rare Pokemon. You got Combee for your Stardust. You got Diglett. I mean, if you like Diglett. And I think Dwebble is probably the most fun. I will say Dwebble's an interesting one too because Ditto can hide as him, and that's like the only Pokemon I can seem to encounter that sometimes turns into Ditto. Like no matter what I catch other than that, it's just never Ditto. So I don't know.
I can understand that. Yeah, no, I can understand that. But yeah, the Secrets of the Jungle event has been going on pretty good. We have the return of Jessie and Gems and their Shadow Pokemons. The same lineup of before, we had Scyther and Pinsir as their encounter shinies, and people are getting their shinies, so that's pretty good. I don't mind getting a Pinsir just because that was the only Shadow shiny that I didn't get. I don't need any more Scythers, although I wish that I can actually either get one for Purification, Shando, or Hondo. I don't mind about those.
You gotta evolve one into a Cleavor.
I know, right? It's like, and if you guys don't know, Cleavor is actually the brand new Pokemon that was actually introduced in a trailer for Pokemon Legend Arceus, the new game that is going to come out next year. So, very exciting stuff because things like that may actually trickle into Pokemon Go eventually. Probably an event or something, and just tells you, hey, here you go, you can go ahead and get one. So that's going to be interesting in that regard. However, that's not what we're talking about today. So, but yeah, so Jessie and James, I don't mind those. So here's the funny thing. The moment the event released and I got my first balloon, it was Jessie and James. Then the next one was Jesse and James. Then the midnight one was Jesse and James. Then the
Bro.
morning after that was Jesse and James. And
You're
probably
taking all mine, man.
and probably by the time, I don't know, the afternoon of yesterday, around 6 o'clock, that was the time where I didn't get a Jesse and James and actually got like a Sierra or Arlo or something. But yeah, I literally got like back to back to back to back to back to back Jesse and James. And I was like, is this what's supposed to happen?
What did you have the rocket leader radar, or
Yes.
was that like
Yes, I
okay,
had actually.
okay, so that was with that.
I believe that I didn't have the radar before the first one spawned. And
That's
then
crazy.
after that, I literally got the radar, and I've been getting them most of the time anyway. So I don't have the radar now. I've been getting regular grunts for the last few ones, but it's been insane. And so the chances for me to get a shiny shadow was actually pretty high the last few days anyway. So pretty good, at least for me. How about you? You haven't been getting that many?
I haven't seen a single Jesse and James yet, but like I haven't been in for every single one.
Okay.
But I definitely have been trying.
Okay. All right. Well, you definitely will get them, and then you're gonna blow me out of the water, and you get a shiny shadow or something, you know.
Get one shiny shadow in the first one. Oh my gosh.
That's probably what's gonna happen. That's probably what's gonna happen anyway. So.
No.
But yeah, so Jesse and James is a nice addition back again. We do have, as Chris mentioned, Sarude. Sarude is actually, so far has been an interesting Pokemon. It was a lot of Pokemons in PvP in the Master League. I think the only one that you really have to worry about are the fairies, just because of its dark typing. But even then, I think it can hold out his own pretty well if you have the good lineup for Master League. Just like it's mentioned, I really like the inclusion of Dwebble and Roggenrola. I've seen a couple of Labrators in there too. Mostly because I kind of wish I actually got more shiny Labrators now for some reason. But Roggenrola is a cool shiny I want. I definitely want a Hondo of that too if possible. So hopefully in the next 7 days of the event, I actually get lucky or not. We'll see. And then, of course, the month of October has also had some interesting research that we want to talk about pretty soon in a minute. Then after that, I think that's it. The special research is for Sarude, so that's pretty good. I finished that pretty quickly. Did you finish yours yet?
No. I have to beat the rocket grunts currently.
Okay.
I got stuck on the bug and grass one actually for a while.
Well, that's one you run the Gold Plus the entire time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it hasn't been too bad for me either. Once I finish it, I get my Sarude. And as always, horrible IVs. Never that good. I think I have the same IVs as Mystic 7. 1599. 2 stars, of course. So I don't think I want to power this up for Ultra League, but everybody will hack. Or I'm sorry, for Master League. Well, yeah, you can actually get it for Ultra League too. But in all sense, I don't know. It's just another nice little cool mythical Pokemon that they introduced way earlier before any other Pokemon generations. They're supposed to come out this year. I don't know, Niantic. I don't know what you're doing.
Is it alright if I talk about what it's good against in Master League?
Yeah, go ahead.
Really quick?
Go ahead.
Okay. It looks really interesting. It seems like it can take out actually a pretty good amount of the meta with very clean wins. These are the key wins, and this is via pvpoke.com if you guys don't know.
Shout out.
Yeah. We got Giratina Origin, which it wins with a battle rating of 661. The more over 500 it is the better it is, with 1,000 being you win with no damage taken. And it has Mewtwo with an 823 battle rating, which is insane. And it's just because it resists those Psy Strikes so much. But I mean, obviously, Ice Beam would be terrifying.
Well,
we got Groudon here. Oh, what's up?
Well, what I wanted to talk about Mewtwo. So Mewtwo, unfortunately, does take a big hit from Sarude being a Dark type. So
Yes.
In that sense, even though if you really want to adjust the meta and you see more Sarudos than anything, then yeah, cool. Ice Beam will probably be a good addition. Get into it though, maybe a little bit hard with shields.
Or
without shields,
personally,
So,
I think Focus Blast is just amazing because you can just one-shot a Dialga, and it would work on him, but that risk is just horrible.
yeah.
then we got third here is actually Groudon with a 741 rating. And then you got Kyogre here. I don't even know how Kyogre is less than Mewtwo. But we got an 812 there. So it's still a very, very good win. And then we got Giratina Altered with a 669 rating.
Nice.
And that's just because he's so chunky. Yeah. Nice.
Well, Sarude can counter both Kyogre and Groudon with just one move.
Yes.
So that's crazy. I mean, so it can have Dark types for all the Ghost and Psychic types in the meta. It can have Grass moves for all the Waters and Ground types in the meta. And if you're feeling frisky, you can also put Focus, or you can put something that actually counters the other part of the meta. And I think people actually run it with Focus Blast instead too. So, you basically are like having like, you basically have something that just counters almost everything at this point. And it's actually kind of scary to think that a Pokemon that, unfortunately, not everybody, I mean, everybody's, okay, let me rephrase that. Unfortunately, everybody's going to have. And the moment that actually becomes a thing, and Master League continues on like it is, then it's definitely going to be on top of meta pretty soon.
I think it is a very fun Pokemon. What's interesting about it, though, is it beats a lot of the legends in the meta. And, you know, so many people are running their perfect legends that they worked very hard for. And then, like, Zarude just gets beat by, like, a Dragonite or Garchomp. You know, the cheaper options.
True.
So I think it is going to shake up the meta a lot. Just the fact that it beats a Pokemon that is usually, I think all 5 of these Pokemon are Pokemon that a lot of people run in their teams. You know, like who doesn't want to run a Mewtwo? Because it just covers so much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very interested to see how it does. Because it looks like it covers a fabulous amount.
I mean, having his quick wins against all the Giratinas, Mewtwo, Groudon, and Kyogre, and loses to Gyarados, Garchomp, Togekiss, and things like that, it's just insane. So
yeah, how does it lose to Gyarados? That's what weirds me out.
Good question.
It's ugly.
Well, yeah, but I think it's mostly because of the fast move advantage.
Yeah, so. Dragon Breath.
Yeah, so well, we'll see how Saruda will actually compare pretty soon. I do believe that there may be more than meets the eye when it comes to it, so we'll see how exactly it's really... Like, we said the same thing for, like, Zacian, and Zacian is actually also doing a little bit of waves every now and then.
I feel lesser about Zacian, though. I think it has a very much needed moveset for fairy types in Master League.
Which is,
I think it's very fun, but
impossible with Zacian. I think that the moveset in the main games don't actually trickle down to Pokemon Go that easily. Unless we get like Fairy Wind, and unfortunately I don't think it learns that. So
I don't think so. No.
Yeah. So depending on how it is, you know, again, we'll see how the meta will change. But everybody is actually excited about Sarude in Master League for sure. I think that's the only reason people are excited. And of course, if you get the Hondo, that'd be great. But if you don't, then tough luck. Let's see how Chris fares out once he gets his. He's probably gonna be there.
I haven't gotten a good IV one, man.
I think the only ones that I got a good IVs is the mythical shinies. Celebi and Mew were 93s each, so I think I'm okay with that.
I never get good mythicals, so I'm not gonna hold my breath for Zarude. There's gonna be a random hundo, but it's not gonna be Zarude.
Yeah, well, we'll see. You never know until you get it. So, and it will be like, oh, I finally got a mythical hundo. It's Zarude. Well, you never know.
Pion.
All right. Yeah. So aside from that, the event is still going on for 7 more days. We'll definitely keep an eye if there's anything more, but that's usually the gist of it. So it's not a bad deal unless they said, "Oh, here you go. You can also catch another shiny Celebi or something," and then everybody goes bananas for the next 7 days. But I think that's possible with Niantic anyway. So
anything's possible.
Anything's possible. So yeah, we'll definitely give our rating next week, just because we don't actually have any news to talk about anyway. So we'll give our ratings to the event if we want to give out any more. Oh, I forgot about the rates actually. So we actually have like Rufflet and Genesect with the Drought Drive in rates right now. So I don't know. The Rufflet interests me if I do some free raid passes out there or every now and then. As for Genesect, I did my one and done. I don't think I want to do any more than that unless people are like, they need help for something. But Genesect is the easiest Pokemon to take down. You can solo it if you have the right counters, and you can do it pretty easily without much trouble with low level players too. So
I think the best part about Genesect is you don't have to worry about his drive when you're battling him.
Right.
If he had the dowsing drive, yeah, just try soloing him with a Charizard. See how that goes.
I know, right? So yeah, in the end of the day, Genesect would have been a little more exciting if it wasn't that the shiny is not available throughout the event. So that's the unfortunate part. And then the raids, of course, there's Chanseys and Lickitons that I'm sure that Chris is looking out for, but again,
I the Chansey.
Well,
I was like, no.
I wouldn't mind. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing Chanseys either, just because I want to try to see if I can get the Hondo anyway. So, yeah, that's basically it. I don't think there's anything in X anymore. Not even in 7KX, anyways. And there's a couple of research encounters that the hardest one to actually do for the event is the battle of the 5 grunts, and that gives you a chance on Rowlet. So unfortunately, because it's just a time-consuming task, I don't really do it unless it's the only task that I have for the day or something like that, So, but let's go ahead and actually just end the Secrets of the Jungle event right here. Let's move on to the news section, topics research of the day, which unfortunately, like I said before, we have no news this week. Like, Niantic just decided to say, yeah, we already said everything we need to do. We don't actually have to say anything. Niantic, you're making this job very, very hard for me. You know that, right?
They're taking a vacation this week. It's fine.
Anyways, there is a little bit of things that we want to talk about before we get into the actual section that I'm thinking of right now. Let's talk about one specific research encounter that it's out there in the wild for the month of October, and this one actually grants you a Spiritomb encounter, which, as you guys know, is the most sought after shiny Pokemon that we are looking for anyways. And this one, unfortunately, is a special research only for October, but there's 2 of them, which are, Chris.
I only know about one of them.
Okay.
The Catch 18 Dark type Pokemon Field Research Task. What is the other one?
Can you guess?
Catch 18 Ghost types?
Ding, ding, ding. Correct.
Yeah. What do I win?
Hopefully a shiny Spiritomb.
Were you able to get one last year?
No. I don't know. I don't remember exactly if I actually super hunting them, or I can't even remember how exactly it was when the shiny was actually released. So, in all sense, I don't have one. Unfortunately, I did try to get it during the time off. So this is a nice addition. I hope that we're able to at least get another encounter with Spiritomb soon. But because the research encounter is not Spiritomb, I know that they were not going to have that in the special research, or I'm sorry, in the breakthrough box. Which I got mine for the week, and unfortunately it's not shiny or Hondo, so I mean,
I mean, the fact that he's out in the wild quest, I think you're gonna have a really good chance at it.
Yeah.
I wish you a lot of luck. I was able to snag one last year. I think the shiny odds are very good for Spiritomb too.
I will hope so.
I wish you a lot of luck.
And again, there are special encounters or special research encounters right now, so I think you see the special tag on the research when you grab it. But of course, if you already know what it is, then you know what it's going to be Spiritomb anyways.
Yeah, catch 18, yeah.
Yeah, so, and it's a little bit hard to actually do because there are ghost types spawning, but there are not that many ghost or dark types actually spawning in that sense, unless you get lucky with the rockets. Forever. Yeah, so yeah, I'll definitely keep them and do them if I have the chance to get one. But in essence, it's just like, if it's more like I'll go out, I hunt. If I don't see it, I don't see it. If I do, well, go tough luck, next time. But again, just how the game has been in the last few weeks for me, just whatever I can do for the days that I'm off or the days that I'm doing other things. So I'm more focused on trying to at least have dinner on the table at the end of the day. So,
yeah.
But yeah. no, not a bad thing. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, so that's the one thing, the miscellaneous thing that I wanted to talk about. Now let's talk about something, since we have no news this week, and definitely nothing to talk about on Pokemon Go's news updates, anyways. Let's talk about some of the things that it's been in our minds kind of lately, and this is the features that the game already has. And I want to see if we can actually find a way to improve them. Now, if you guys have questions, we definitely want to hear them, either to Twitter, to email, or anything like that. We definitely want to see what is the option. Now, I know there's a lot of features that we want to improve, PvP, gym system, all those things. But let's talk about the ones that we never really talk about. And that's, the minor everyday research or everyday improvements that we can do to the game. Just, things that we don't even think about doing it, but we're doing it because it's just a casual thing to the game. So first and foremost, of course, there's three main topics to this, and this ones are like, the ones that I just mentioned, PvP, gym system, race system, or even eggs, because everybody talks about those things every time the game comes out, or the game is open anyways. But let's talk about like other things that they are not fully mentioned, and those are like, I don't know, trading. Like trading could be improved. Do you see anything in the trading system that could be improved in that sense?
Oh, that's an interesting one. I haven't even thought about how that could be improved.
Right. Now, of course, the one thing that everybody on the mind is remote trading, or remote trading with like friends. Mm-hmm. But what about the feature itself? Like, yeah, we have trading, but is it good enough? I mean, we only have one special trade per day. We can trade at up to 100 Pokemons per day. I don't know. What is it that's something that actually can improve the feature more than it already is, to make people excited for it, especially now that we're kind of like coming down out of the pandemic a little bit and then just opening up the world a little bit more? What's something that the feature can actually improve in that sense? Do you think of something?
I think the number one thing that would improve trading or make it, a lot more enjoyable for people is making it faster. So maybe once you lock in a trade, it doesn't leave the trade screen until you guys are completely done with your trading.
Okay.
Like you're leaving the trade room
Okay.
instead of after every single trade having to click trade.
Okay. Yeah, I do see that happening. Yeah, I like that idea, because I've been doing a lot of more trades this last few days, mostly because my roommate plays Pokemon Go, my coworker plays Pokemon Go, and they all want to do tradings, and whoever I meet that plays the game just wants to trade anyway. So, but it's so annoying, and you're right, it's so annoying to actually do one trade, get out of the trade screen, and then have to click again. Sometimes it's like trade expires, sometimes something happens, laggy. And you're like that is annoying. Come on, guys, like we want to make sure that we trade as much as possible. Why give us more time to not do it? So I like that. I really do like that idea. That may be a quality of life update when it comes down to it. I hope I can send this to Niantic somehow. So like, that was a good idea, right? At
Niantic, yeah.
At Niantic, So in that sense, yes, that could be a great improvement. I don't think I have anything more that I was thinking at the time when it comes down to trading. I think that's actually a pretty good addition, if it could be an addition in that sense. So let's go ahead and talk about something else. Let's see. If we look at the game right now, and I see the things that were... What about the nearby? Like the nearby Pokemons for Pokestops and wild Pokemons. Do you think that could be improved?
Are you reading my mind right now? Because that was the that was the big thing that I had thought of immediately when you asked me before this. So my big issue with nearby Pokemon, remember the old days when we had footsteps that would tell us how far away Pokemon were?
Yes. Like, I mean, come on, you and I are almost day one players, so...
I think they could improve that so well.
Okay.
Just, like, let us know where the Pokemon are, instead of us just walking in a circle trying to find that rare, Charizard spawn. Like, tell us the direction, how far it is from us, so we can triangulate it from space again, or whatever we had to use to do.
Right, yeah.
But I mean, like, if we know where it is and we know it's in a space we can't get to, then we'd stop looking. Hopefully we'd stop looking, instead of just trying to walk around a fence for like 10 minutes. I think it would make the game a lot safer. I think it would be a lot more enjoyable for people, actually being able to track down a Pokemon.
Right.
Because they're already kind of telling you where Pokemon are. The fact that they're already at a Pokestop, and I don't know. I feel like they definitely moved away from that feeling when they took away the footsteps
That's
on the
true.
location.
Now, there is, of course, a lot of legal stuff when it came down to the original
Hmm.
footsteps that we understand that they don't want to go back to that. However, that feature can still be improved if we think about it a little bit more. Now, we own. Okay, so let's compare it to the rural and city-like players, or the players that have a lot of Pokestops and all that stuff. Now, if you have a Pokestop near you, the nearby is gonna focus on that Pokestop, and it's going to say you have this many Pokemons on this Pokestop, and it's never gonna change anything. It's only gonna see those Pokemons in that Pokestop, and you see maybe one or two nearby Pokemons that are like in the wild specifically. That's okay, but I feel like there should be a way to toggle off the Pokestops and the wild spawns that are natural spawn in the game, because we can search for the ones that are out there in the Pokestops and then be like, okay, so there's one here, but the radius in the Pokestop is only so big. So there's way more Pokemons out there in the wild for sure that we want to catch. So if we can turn off that feature and then just put ourselves in a wild area and be like, okay, instead of just focusing on the Pokestop, don't you think the thrill of the hunt will be a little bit better that way?
Dude, yes. Like adding on. Just turn off the Pidgey spawns.
Well,
let me pick what I want to hunt.
I wouldn't go as far as turning off spawns for Pokemon that I don't want. I mean, unfortunately,
Yeah,
I don't think that they want to they want to go that route, because that means that you will always be looking for the Pokemon that are just good anyway. So
yeah. Like, say for example, you don't want to see Raditas on the map.
right.
If you could like ignore it or something, like double click it and it gets rid of it or something.
What I also
I think that'd
want,
be interesting.
and I think it's kind of like a half feature that right now of the nearby, is that if there's more than one of the same Pokemon spawning in a couple of different stops, then just let us know about one, and then let us hunt for the other Pokemon that are in the same stop, because it just clutters it up with one Pokestop a lot, that it doesn't even matter what else you're looking for. Like right now, my nearby is like I have two Dwebbles in two different stops. If you can have at least one, that'd be great. Maybe do like a
Just
combined
a nearer
feature,
one.
right? Or a combined, or a nearby one. Yeah, the nearest to me at least, that would be nice. And then the other ones can be other Pokemons in the nearby or something like that. Same with a lot of other different Pokemons out there, but I don't know. I feel like that feature can also be implemented anyways, to give it a more sense of what real life Pokemon going out and playing the game, more than just the same things over and over and over again, or the same stops over and over again.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's my addition to it. If I were to see if there's any improvement to that, for sure. I'm getting invited to a Ligator raid, so sorry about that, Chris.
No, you're good.
But yeah, that's one of the things that we'll mention anyways. There's another one that I wanted to talk about, and this one I think is more of the sense of the gym system. Do you think that maybe the gym or the race system needs a huge overhaul now?
I will say, I used to not be a big fan of it. I used to be more of a fan of the old way, where we had to power it up by battling it.
Okay.
I thought that was very interesting. I think just, throwing a bunch of golden raspberries at it is kind of boring.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I will say I kind of laugh sometimes when somebody's about to take out a Pokemon and just golden razz it up.
Yeah.
But it's not very exciting. In the past, you could power up the Pokemon while somebody was trying to fight it out. I guess the reason they don't want that is because theoretically you could just sit there all day doing that. And it would almost it was like a more of a benefit to the defender than the attacker. The new way definitely benefits the attacker more because you have a limit on how many golden razzes you can use and a few other things. But I don't know. I don't know what they could improve. In all honesty, I guess more active battles.
Yeah, that could be one thing. I think that the gym system itself just needs a huge overhaul. I mean, the changes to the race system has been nice, like a little more aesthetic to it is cool. But I feel like it's just been the same thing over and over again for the last 4 or 5 years at this point. Just in itself, I think they just need something more enticing, maybe better rewards out of it. I think the race system, unfortunately, they're not gonna change that anytime soon because it just makes them the good mullah here, anyways. So,
Yeah.
but at least make it a little more exciting. Unfortunately, I feel like this is something that has been downgrading the game probably for the last since the pandemic started. Because yes, you can rate it worldwide. Yes, you can do things in person already. But there's just not more enticing to do the same thing after 4 years. It's like you get a Pokemon, you get your people, you do the raid, you get the raid, you get the shiny, done. I mean, is there anything more to it? So, like, is there anything more cooler to do or than we may think of? I'm not entirely sure if there's any way to really improve it. But there should be more exciting to do raids than it was before because we already gone with 4 years of the game like this, and as much as cool it was back then, I don't think it's getting any better right now.
I'm not gonna lie. I've always been a fan of the raids. I don't think they've gotten stale per se, but I will say that I do feel like I'm kind of getting, I don't know, too used to the remote raids.
Yeah.
So it's like once you can remote raid, why would you want to go back? I know we've talked about this since the beginning. Their plan with remote raids was that they would do when you use them, they're going to do less damage in the future. I don't know how low the decrease is going to be. It could be as much as 50% of damage. And people are going to riot when that happens.
Yeah.
But that was their plan from the beginning.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they ever implement that. But I don't know what they could improve with that. I will say with the gyms, I've been very disappointed with how they lowered the amount of Pokecoins you could get like over time.
Right.
I would appreciate it if they made it a little bit higher because 50 coins per day is kind of you can't really get too much with that. I'm sorry to say.
I would say meet us in the
it's
middle and don't increase it to 100, but meet us in the middle and just put like 75.
Even that would be huge.
Heck yeah, it would be.
Huge. I'd love it.
I don't know why I'm getting anybody to so many raids today. Always,
Popular.
I don't know. They see me and they're like, "Oh, okay, I'll just invite him." But yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, but again, it's just more like I feel like there just needs to be a little more excitement. I don't know if it's just me not actually wanting to go out anymore and do raids, just like now. But it's just like there's really, aside from maybe just cool new Pokemon or things like that, there's not much of excitement of going out and doing this kind of things anymore. Until at least EX raids or the amount of damage, just like you said, in remote ratings decreases or something like that. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes if that ever changes in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's one aspect of the game. How about, well, the catching mechanic can never really change. That's the core mechanic of the game no matter what. What about the eggs? Do you have any implementations to see what eggs could be better?
The the first thing that comes to mind, it's something I'm sure everyone would want this. Is just giving us the opportunity to get another what's it called infinite incubator, and then just have it not take up any space.
Right.
An opportunity to somehow buy another one or unlock it when you get to level 50 or something. I think that'd be pretty dope.
That could actually be a very big thing if they actually implement it. I wouldn't mind it's like an infinite incubator just because we always had the one. And there's never a reward to try to get another one no matter what. It's getting all the paid ones, but I don't know. It's just one of those things. The big thing that a lot of people are telling me been listening is just the breeding mechanic. If there's a way to breed in the game, that could change things.
That'd be dope.
But I feel like at that point, if we really wanted to do breeding, I feel like the ID spread for eggs should be a lot lower than the initial 10-10-10.
I feel like it would have to, kind of like in the main series games. I feel like it would kind of have to mix the IVs of the Pokemon that you have. Like for example, if you breed two perfects, I don't think it would should give you a perfect. I think it should have a little bit of a chance, of lowering it like 3 on all of them, maybe or something.
What
Um,
about, let's go in the instead of the IVs, let's talk about like the
yeah,
distance to hatch them. Do you think maybe there will be a greater distance to hatch more than 12 eggs at this point, or should be lower because you're the one breeding it?
I feel like it just should depend on the Pokemon. Like
Yeah,
they
true.
already have what they want. I mean, like for example, say I'm trying to breed a horsey. What are they like? Are they in 5K or 2K right now?
I think they're 5K. I don't know. I don't have any 5Ks
Um,
right now.
I feel yeah, same. I feel like it should be in the pool of egg that you would normally hatch it from, but the fact that you know exactly what's going to hatch out of this egg, uh, that's appealing to a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah.
Some people like the randomness, but if you know there is a chance at a shiny horsey or a perfect horsey, you know, like if because that's what you're breeding. I feel like a lot of people would like that. I mean, I think eggs overall are kind of annoying. Oh, here's a good thing that they could improve on: letting you delete eggs. How many times have you accidentally spun a stop when there's like a 7 kilometer egg event
Yeah,
and you just picked up like a 5K?
or a 2K.
You don't want to you don't want to hatch that. You want to get the 7Ks. You're missing out on them. But it's all good. It's all
I
good.
feel like if they do that and they implement the deletion, that there's gotta be a punishment for it, like an insanely bad punishment. Just because if their people can actually delete eggs, then nobody will hash 2K eggs or 5K eggs anymore. There would just either be fully 12 or 10s at this point, just because of the rare ones. There's
I mean, I don't think they'd be missing out on anything really. Like from Niantic's standpoint.
Yes, I mean they're definitely more enticing to say that people will probably buy more incubators that way, anyways, just because they do want to hash the rare eggs no matter what. But it will make the game a lot more pay to win if you think about it.
I mean, the only thing I could see from Niantic's standpoint is say somebody's free to play. They don't want to walk 10 kilometers to hatch an egg. They barely play.
I feel that we have like two
Um,
sides of this coin on this one. I like the
yeah,
direction. That's
like I'm thinking like what world would Niantic not like this? And I'm thinking they'd probably be worried about people trashing the longer distances and only walking 2 kilometer eggs, because they know that they can get away with it for free. If they trash the longer eggs, like
right.
get rid of the 5 kilometers or maybe just walk the 10 kilometers while you're at work. Because you don't gotta spend anything. I don't know. I don't know. I think they're worried about people not wanting to use the paid ones. Like it's very tempting to use the paid ones when all you
Ah,
have is 12 kilometer eggs,
true.
stuff like that.
But again, I do see it as a flip to that. That again, I don't think they can go that far. Um, for the reason that it's just gonna make more people not wanting to hatch eggs or not have enough money to get incubators. And at the
Okay.
same time, it's more like yes, it's pay to win because 10K eggs have insanely good Pokemons in there. And even though sometimes it's just like the same thing over and over and over again out of 10K, which I'm kind of hating anyways. Like, please
A
take
lot
out
of
all.
candy too, though.
Can you also please take out all the non-shiny Pokemons out of that? Because I just every time I hatch a 10K, and it's I don't know. I have an egg right here that I actually can tell. If it's a Molga, not shiny, Minfu, not shiny, the cat bastard, not shiny. Like I haven't hatched a Riola probably in like forever, and I've been hatching 10K eggs more than usual, anyways. But still, it's just one of those things. I just don't think that a deletion of it can be implemented now. However, something that makes it more enticing to hatch them, maybe. They did implement it 12K eggs after a while. Technically, you can only get those if you do the leader, so it's kind of combining two burns with that one stone if you really think about it. So it's not a bad thing. It's just I feel like it could be just improved tiny little bit to make sure that everybody is rewarded from it. And if there is deletion, again, I feel like a punishment should be placed to say maybe the next egg you incubator will be, twice the distance than usual or something like that because you deleted one or two or something like that.
And then it just keeps getting longer and longer.
Well, yeah, I mean that just seems like the kind of punishment I could see from it. Since since 2KX and 5KX, they serve a purpose. They still have a purpose for shiny and Hondo hunters, but sometimes it's just tiring hatching so many eggs at once. And then one of the last features that I really want to talk about before we move on, since we're actually starting to run a little bit out of time. I don't know, maybe the items. I don't know, the home screen doesn't seem that there's much change there. We talked about
music. Change the music.
We talked about nearby. Well, there's this one feature that is actually on top of the nearby, and that's the research. Do you think that regular research, special research, and time research need an update?
I think if they had like a timer or something to let you know, hey, you might want to do your special research. You didn't do one today, buddy, old buddy pal. Without me having to check the screen. I mean, that's just me being lazy. But I mean, how many times have I forgot to do the special research because, I was not paying attention. And I don't know. I guess if you're doing like 10 to 50 tasks a day, that's not going to be a problem.
Right.
But for, a casual player, that might be something holding them back if they miss out on that. So I think a little warning in the game, not something that goes outside the game, would probably be good.
Well, the research have almost everything, the best of both worlds. You can delete research and get a new one if you wanted to. You can spin another stuff, get another one. You have daily spin research and daily spawn research and all that. Is there any other thing or aspect in the game that could actually be implemented to the research that we get normally? Or is there something better that we can get out of special or out of the breakthrough boxes maybe? Or maybe a better reward for each one of them since you're getting, one at a time every single week?
I think they've been pretty good so far.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're not all equal,
Right.
by no means. But I think they've been pretty good about keeping them fresh, keeping them to be Pokemon that people want to have. Yamask is not a common Pokemon. Ditto is not a common Pokemon. So I feel like they've done a good job to keep people from complaining as much as they have in the past.
When I saw the whole research part come into events, like how it actually came out and everything, I liked it. Like I really liked that I can actually go to different places, spin the stops, and actually get special research from it. Because it gives you items, it gives you encounterable Pokemon. I usually only do the encounter ones, let's just say Community Day or something, because at that point there's really no point of actually doing any other ones. The items I can restock every time I spin a stop anyway, so it's not much problems. When it comes to the encounters, though, I feel like they could actually be a little bit better. But so far, I haven't been disappointed with that many aside from last month. Last month's research for the wild research kind of poopy anyways. Most of the ones that I would usually do didn't reward me with very good things anyway, so I wasn't really happy about them. This time, it's a little bit more, but maybe do a more of a shake-up of the encounters, probably a little more often than just keep it for like a full year or something. Like, I think we've seen the Gible encounter, they make 3 excellent throws in a row for literally like over a year now. And before that, it was Larvitar, and that was literally when the research came out, everybody was looking for that, and yet it was there for like 3 years. So maybe change up the pool a little bit. Again, I still don't see what can be used to improve it, so I would like to hear somebody's more opinion to it anyways. But yeah, at least that's my take on it when it comes down to it, But yeah, I think that's almost every other feature that we have. I think we pretty much pointed out every single one that's not like insanely high. I know we can get into the PvP one, but at this point, everybody just says give them their own dedicated service and please fix the lag. That's all it basically needs. Or maybe just give it like a free to play ranking system or something, so that way you don't actually go down on the system and just play for fun or something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. In that regard, I feel like we cover almost every single aspect of the game. The weather system is okay. I like it, although it could be a little more accurate. Between all our items, I think everything's good. Between storage and bag item, Pokedex, those things have been kind of updated in the last few times. So not much to say in those. Nothing to really have to use or have to improve anyways. Maybe just one last thing that I want to mention is probably just an aesthetic of the game. Like, I think we've seen the same background for the last, I don't know, 5 years.
It has gotten a little bit prettier. That's about it, though.
Oh yeah, it definitely has gotten way better since the beginning of the game, but maybe something in that regard. All right, Chris, I think we have more than enough. Again, guys, if you have any questions, or actually if you want to talk about more about this and how you can implement the game a little bit better or improve it, follow our social medias. We definitely are there almost every single day. We have a Discord. You can talk about it in there. And we definitely have our email section where, again, send us an email, guys.
Yeah. What would you change?
Yeah.
What would you change?
What would you change out of the game? Or what can you improve to make the game just more enticing for yourself? Or for others, I wanted to talk about the data mine. We're gonna go ahead and scream to it real quickly here, just to make sure. There was a new updates being rolled out for KPK. So Pokeminers once again are in the search bar for this. So make sure you check them out in their Twitters and all their other places, because they have really cool stuff. So I'm just gonna definitely go talk about the highlights of what they found this time around. One of them is you will be able to zoom in and out of your avatar when changing clothes to make sure you look just right. Interesting. You can actually do a little bit of fashion show with your item avatars. And again, guys, this is data mining that is not breaking terms of service unless you are doing it yourself. You were just talking about it. Just make sure you remember that. Name changes will come with suggestions. Okay. I don't know if it's that regular name changes or Pokemon name changes. I'm not sure. The loading screen now shows tutorial messages. I think that's what's founded, that there's new tutorials in the loading screen. So when you're loading up the game, I think it shows you better tutorial messages anyways. Then we have 4 new search bars filters added, and then 2 new Pokemon customs added. So the customs, I believe it was just like, their placeholder names, so we don't know anything about it. Though the placeholder for this ones were actually called gems. And I'm just like, rock type event, anybody? But it's a custom one, so we'll see how it goes. Significant wayfare changes coming to see existing wayposts, even if they don't appear in-game. That's pretty cool. Route Maker updates. Send postcards to your friends if you have any. Interesting. So the Route Maker is something that has been in the code for quite a bit of time already. We definitely would like to see more about that feature if it comes out, because I really doubt it at this point that it's going to come out anytime soon. 2 new ad balloons added. Advertisements, of course, for other countries are also being implemented for here. More subscription-related code has been added. So it's subscription-based part of the game. We don't know how it is and how good it would be. I think I talked about that with Lure Up, or Ken from Lure Up, and one of the community calls that we had. And it just depends really on, I feel like, the rewards of it. And if you really want to subscribe for once a month or once a year or things like that, things that are weird when it comes down to it, especially for a game like Pokemon Go. A bunch of library has been updated. I think that's just things that in the in-game code. And then in non-Pokemon Go related news, a Transformers app icon and Niantic social text have been added. So as you guys don't know, Niantic is also developing a Transformers game. So I know a lot of people are excited about that. So that's actually pretty interesting. But That's all there is to it. There's not much changes about it when it comes down to it. The route maker is probably the most enticing, and I think the subscription information has also been a little bit enticing. What do you think, Chris?
I don't know, man. I've never been a fan of it.
Subscription or
Okay, subscriptions I can get behind because if you know you're gonna put in a certain amount to the game anyways, and they make it more enticing, like say for example, you're looking out for the best deals on what's it called? On like incubators, incenses, and you know exactly how much you're gonna get every month, because they don't change it. That'd be cool. I would like that. If they gave you a really good deal on it, though, it's just hard to beat.
now? Let me ask you: do you
I wouldn't
think
have a
that's?
problem
I
with that.
mean, if we talk in subscription services, I don't see it like a battle pass or something like that from like Fortnite or
No.
something like that. I see it more of like a Clash of Clans kind of game. I don't know if you actually have played Clash of Clans before, but they do have a subscription based like thing that you can do basically each season, and you can actually level up and say, okay, you'll get these rewards here and there, and some of the rewards from it. I think that the subscription is like $5.99 or something like that, or $7. I think one of the two. I can't remember right now. However, each one of the tiers for free gives you like better Stardust, more experience. Sometimes a little bit of like in-game help for like tasks like berries, or it could be like something like berries or something like that. But it also, if you do the paid subscription out of it, then you get stuff that will be more enticing to have if out of the free version of the season. More in Clash of Clans, they have like resources, the extra resources you can do. You can have runes for those types of resources if you don't have enough. There's also things to power up things and things like that. So maybe some of those things can be implemented to Pokemon Go in their own way. Of course, I'm not saying they should be the same as things like Clash of Clans, but in that sense, the subscription based part of that can be implemented to better the experience of the player, not to punish it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something to talk about definitely in the future if it ever gets implemented into the game. So we'll see. We'll see. I feel like they're never gonna go wrong, but it's Niantic, so they're always gone wrong with something. So
There has been a lot of talk about a subscription service for a bit.
yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Now let's get into some PvP section. Get good, get ready. Here we go, Chris. All right, so very first thing, of course, GBL has started their Master and Little Cup. I think we talked about this before.
A little bit, yeah.
Master League, I haven't touched it just yet. I feel like I need to power up a few things, but I'm kind of saving my Stardust. Anything from the Little Cup or anything back from the Little Cup there, Chris?
I will say the meta that we talked about, is definitely there. Cottony is strong, but I feel like there's a lot of Pokemon that just completely wall it. Skarmory. Skorupi is a very fun one. I have had a lot of fun using Shadow Skorupi because it just hard walls Cottony. And I think there's just so many Pokemon in the cup that actually just demolish it and it can't do anything to it. That it's almost a hindrance to run Cottony sometimes. And I will say I haven't seen as many Galarian Stunfisks, but when you run into them, they're a nightmare. So yeah, do what you can, but I don't know. It's a very hard cup to run, in my opinion.
All right. Okay, so that's one. Then let's go ahead and talk about some factions updates.
Ooh, okay. This week has been a good week.
Ooh.
This week has been a very good week. Let me pull it up. I do know the score. We actually won 13-8. So it wasn't like super close. So I was very happy. The squad really did well. We had 2 3-0s actually, with Loudmouth and I'm always worried I'm saying his name wrong. Akanon. He's very strong, and I see him get sweeps all the time. I need to figure out how to say his name. But they like secured it pretty much, and then I was able to get a 2-1 in my squad. I had to fight a team that had a perfect best buddy Chansey and a extra large Lickitung. So we were looking at that. And we're like, we're very glad that you put a Metacham on your team this time, because I was just running a horrible team that would have really struggled against his squad if I didn't switch it out, because I switched out a Dugong for Metacham, and I will say it made my job 10 times easier. I only lost one of the battles versus him, and it was because his Chansey was able to time me out, and we got the timeout. I had 2 Pokemon. He was able to pound down my defense Deoxys to take the win. Oh my gosh, it was insane. I wasn't even mad because it was just insane.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it.
Wow. Indeed. Very congratulations for you guys. This time around, you did very well. Like I said, it's up and down when it comes to factions, and it's actually, you guys are having so much fun every time that it's just insane. So pretty good in that regard. Thank you, Chris, for updating us. Hopefully next week is another good one for you guys. We'll see. But with that being said, do you have anything else to add, Chris?
No. I think we covered everything very well. I will add on very quickly about factions, just because I forgot to add it on. I think we secured an upgrade for our status. So hopefully I'll let you guys know when we find out what's going on with that. But I'm excited.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hope you guys have a fabulous week. Yeah, get your Zerudes. Hopefully get that perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Yeah, definitely, because you're getting kind of off here. Well, my game, for some reason, my game just decided to just run off all over the place for some reason. Thank you so much for everybody for listening to the podcast today. Definitely check us out on our live streams at twitch.tv/purelighter. If you always want to reach us, again, we have our social medias here. Let me check on this while we wait for the response. Myself at Purified Go, and Chris at PKMN Trigger, please. You can always email us at thepurifiedpodcast@gmail.com if you have any questions, concerns, or anything else you want to talk about. Send us those emails, guys. 83 episodes, and I kind of want to see the first email from you guys. Come on, guys. I want to see it here. If, of course, you're sticking to the end of the show, thank you so much once again. We greatly appreciate it. Always listening to us. Check us out on our podcast services feeds, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many other more. Leave us a review if you can, of course. Thank you so much, too. And yeah, don't forget to check us out at thepurifiedpodcast.com, the Professor Network. With that being said, I believe that is everything we have to cover. Chris, take us away for the night.
All right. Hope you guys have a fantastic night. Get the shinies, get those hundos. Do very well in your Go Battle League battles. And, encounter Jesse and James, get some nostalgia. Hope you guys have a great one. Peace out.
Have a good night, trainers. Keep purifying, and we'll see you guys next time.